Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Big Mac, and welcome back to another video. Apologies for the delay from the last video. This is actually the continuation of a new series that, or not a new series, but actually my first series, because you guys know how I get videos called Who Would Win. The previous one was a theoretical war between the Flood and the Zerg. There were two standouts in the comments debate that was epic and amazing. I think it was 20-something paragraph-long comments between the two, between Azula, I-Z-U-L-A, and X20 Mega or X2 Omega. I'm not sure which. I apologize. The debate that those two put out was absolutely amazing. I would give them a prize if I could. And you know what? What the hell? If they see this video and make a comment on it, get a hold of me. I'll find a way to send you something, because that was just absolutely outstanding, and it was exactly what I wanted. I'll find a way to send you guys something. Now, in terms of who would win the debate, I have to say, the one arguing for Zerg was just, I gotta go with it. I'm sorry. But this is the next theoretical battle between two super soldiers of very popular fictions, the Space Marine from the Warhammer 40k Imperium of Man versus the Spartan, the super soldier from the UNSC in Halo. Now, both of them are surgically, chemically, mentally, gear enhanced super soldiers that have a amazing legendary record to go along with their name, and their name alone is enough to inspire fear in the enemies. Now let's go over some of the stats and physical backgrounds of both. First off, the Space Marines. Space Marines are roughly 450 pounds, 7.5 feet tall, without their power armor. The power armor heightens them slightly, but it does make them a lot heavier, and it makes them a lot more durable. They are extremely strong. They aren't the quickest, but they have amazing endurance, incredible durability. They're extremely powerful. They're extremely hard to kill, and they can go toe-to-toe with some of the most insane, horrific beings there are. They are utterly fearless, and they will mess your stuff up without a second thought. Now, they are taken from roughly the age of 7 to the age of 18 on the home world of a Space Marine chapter, depending on which chapter in particular. And they are put through rigorous, intense training. They are surgically enhanced in the process, given things like a third lung, a second heart, something to enhance their blood to make it extra red and carry more oxygen, something that removes white noise and dizziness, something that makes it so they don't need to sleep if they can't. If they're in the middle of a fight, they can go days and days and days without sleep with no ill side effects. Now, at the end of the process, they are equipped with a neural net, basically, under their skin so they can interact with their famous power armor. For the sake of argument, we're going to give them the typical Space Marine power armor. I will put a link to the Space Marine chapter, or the Space Marine page on the Warhammer 40k wiki, so you can look more in depth yourself. And we're just going to give them the typical power armor instead of something like the Terminator power armor or the brand new power armor. We're going to give them the more famous generic Space Marine power armor. And for the sake of argument, we're going to go with the Ultramarines chapter, because they are, let's face it, your basic vanilla Space Marines. I got generic and vanilla mixed up. I almost did it again. Wow. Next, we're going with the Spartans. The Spartans are roughly 8 feet tall, and they're generally, almost did it again, about 260 pounds. They're lighter, they're leaner, but they're also a lot quicker. Now, their armor as well is hooked up so they can interfere or interact with it on a neural level, so it basically moves like their body. Same with the Space Marine. However, the other side of it is they seem to be a lot more agile and a lot quicker. Now, like the Space Marine, they were taken from an early age. We're going with the Spartan IIs, of course, and they are put through an intense, rigorous training process with surgical implants, surgical alterations, chemical enhancements, all sorts of crazy things like that in order to make them more powerful soldiers, closer to a perfect soldier. They're taken from a very select gene stock from the human race. They're basically as close to genetically perfect as you can get to humans that the UNSC can find. Now, both of them do have their incredible power armor, but the Space Marine is lacking sort of the shield. I don't think Space Marines have shields. They do if they have an Iron Halo, but for the sake of this debate, we're going to say that their armor is enough. We're going to go with the Mjolnir Mark 5, I think it was, or Mark 6, I'm not sure, from Halo 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, I apologize. I will also put a link in the description below to the Spartan page on the Halo Wiki, as well as a link to power armor of both contenders on their respective wikis. Now, let's go into battle gear. Each one of them is going to be equipped with a primary weapon, a melee weapon, and a sidearm. Let's go with the Space Marine first. The Space Marine's melee weapon is going to be the Power Axe. It is a power weapon that will mess people up. It will hurt you bad, and it will pretty much chop in half anything, but I'll get to some of the rules of combat later. The sidearm is going to be your standard issue bolt pistol. For the sake of argument, he can have a bolt pistol in one hand, a sword, the power axe in the other, because that makes sense. And his primary weapon, we're just going to say, is the generic bolter, which he's going to hold with both hands. Now, a bit of clarification. A bolter is not a machine gun. It's similar to a tiny rocket launcher. It fires high impact rounds about that big, pretty big, which are high intensity rounds that will penetrate their target and explode inside. I know, the innuendo is insane, but what can I say? It is something that is extremely deadly. It is meant to kill things quickly, and it does the job well. However, for the sake of argument, let's say that the Spartan shields can deflect the bolter rounds, but it will deplete it rapidly, so the Spartan has to use some of that speed to get the hell away. Now, the Spartan's weapons of choice are going to be a power sword, as often seen by the elites of the Covenant, or later on just the elites of the elites. And for the sake of argument, let's just say that it can deflect the power axe, meaning if they meet end on end, it will deflect it. They can repel one another, and we're not going to make it too messed up and too one-sided, so they can deflect one another. We're giving the Spartan the pistol from Halo 1 because that's the only pistol worth mentioning. The rest of them sucked. Don't care what anybody says, that's true. And we're going to give him the iconic battle rifle because Master Chief used it in all the Halo games and it was my favorite weapon. Now, it really does come to a battle, in my mind, of durability and strength versus speed and agility. So, in the rules of combat, they are both going against toe-to-toe in a wide open area. Let's just say there's some cover, but we're going to call it, let's say it's like a field, but there's giant rocks. Well spread apart, so there's plenty of open space for them to move around in. The rocks provide ample cover if they need it, but not enough that it can basically interfere with the rules of combat. Let's just say the rocks are about the size of the Moa, or the Moa on Easter Island, the giant heads, except they're fairly well spaced apart, so there's about 20 feet between them, and they're just spread out, so there is plenty of cover, but at the end of the day, it is a duel to the death. So, no grenades, no vehicles, no anything like that, just their weapons, just their armor, just their own skill. Who do you think would win, Internet? I really want to know. Standouts for this one will be mentioned in the next video, because that seems like a good way to do it, and I will say who I think won the debate. Please keep fanboy stuff out of it. I know it's going to be difficult. I am a huge nerd of both. Look at I say. But I do want to know who you guys think would win. If you could please put that in the comments section below. And yeah, enjoy your debates. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Big Mick.